Good morning, Patriots. How you doing today? This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from the downtown metropolis of Lamont, Missouri. You know where we're getting into the season of the traffic here in central Missouri because the combines are out. They're getting ready to plow the field. The winter wheat is being planted and the fields are being prepared. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They're spraying all the chemicals on the fields. Oh my goodness. Panic, panic. You know, one of the main chemicals they spray is anhydrous ammonia. Why would they spray that? Fertilizer. The corn loves it. Just eats that stuff up. Yeah, weird how that works. But that's okay. It's all good. We gotta love it. We gotta love the traffic. Hey, so um there's some stuff on my Telegram page. You want to check it out. But silver this morning is 92.02, going up $5 this morning. Gold is 52.49. Nasdaq is down 261. Dow Jones is down 588 or 558. Excuse me. Yesterday they were down a little bit. They've been going down all week. Yesterday, silver tanked. It was up above 91 on Wednesday, and then it tanked. You know why? They suspended trading on silver Wednesday afternoon. And when they did, like 30,000 ounces of silver shorts were cashed out after the suspension of the trading. And the price dropped to like 85 something. But it's not manipulated. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. By the way, Trump's organization, whatever Trump's, the Truth Social, the Trump's multimedia organization that's run by his sons, is suing a couple organizations for naked short selling and driving their stock price down. Interesting timing, just saying. So there's some stuff on there, some good reading on that, some Reddit posts from the Silver Bros on my Telegram page. I'm not going to go through it all because there's lots of other stuff to talk about, like Hillary Clinton and Epstein and Candace Owens and the fact that there's autism fraud going on. There's lots happening. LA Unified School District fraud. Yes, there's all kinds going on. SAVE Act. John Thune, Mr. Traitor to the Republican Party and probably America too. Even got old Mitch McConnell in the mix. I don't know if I'll get to it, but we got Mitch McConnell in the mix. So let's get started with the show today. Just a program reminder, there'll be a show Monday and Tuesday of next week, but after Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will not be here. I'll be traveling, Nueva stuff. By the way, they're going to announce 3 or 4 new products this next week. This is their first, they had their founders convention, but this is their first actual national convention in Orlando, Florida. I'd rather it was in Dallas or Branson or someplace. It's closer to me, but it's in Orlando. It's cool. No problem. Whatever. It's all good. Got a half sneeze coming. Sorry. Anyways, I won't be here. I'll be down there. And what I will be talking about the most, I just want to say, the chocolate sauce that makes your pants fall off. The best stuff there is. If you're froze up, somebody says they're frozen, log out, log back in. It's either your server on your end, your internet on your end, or you should do a road show while driving. What else you got to do? Well, drive. That's illegal in most states now. Anyway, the chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off. I've lost over 30 pounds. I'm down. I should go weigh myself because I looked in the mirror today and like these shirts, these are Shaquille O'Neal brand shirts for big guys. It's actually too big for me. It's kind of just hanging off of me now. So that's a problem. Anyways, You should get yourself a bottle of it. But the other thing is, this company is just now getting started, and many of you have signed up as social marketers, but you haven't done a whole lot with it, and that's cool. Here's the thing. This is the optimum time right now to get out and start talking about what these products are doing for you if you're taking these products. Share it on social media, talk about it, because there's an opportunity here. This is the time of year. If you're taking this product and you're seeing a difference, talk about it on social media. If you're taking the Nitro and you're talk about it. If you're taking the I can't think of the name, peptide products, talk about it on social media. Just give a story. What has it done for you? Take a little picture, but don't let people know the name of the company. This is a hint. Post that picture. Pour some pour some chocolate and sauce in a spoon. Take the picture, and say, "This is what it's done for me." And when people say, "What is it? Where can I get some?" If you've signed up as a social marketer, message me and I'll tell you where to find your link if you don't know. And you send them the link and they buy the stuff and you get paid. I'm literally going on this trip to Florida and I'm not paying anything for it because the company's paying for it because I've been saving all the money. The show would be over by the time I typed all that. You don't have to do it here. I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about on your social media. Put it onto your social media. That's what I'm talking about. And then when people respond on your social media, what is it you're doing? Then you send them your link and you get paid. Who could ask for more than that? It's crazy. That's what social retail is. Finding something you like, talking about it on social media. And when people ask you what it is, you sell it to them. That's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Nothing's easy in this world that's worth doing, but you get the point. All right, let's get started with the show. I've jabbered on too long. Here we go. This is just another day on the Democratic plantation.
What you got there, gal?
Oh, I uses them to clean the windows, sir. You thought I was reading these fancy papers? Oh, no, sir. I know you's got to tell me how to think, sir. I knows better not to read this. And I remember you told me if I don't do what you told me to do, that means I ain't black. And I was just as black as the day is long, sir. Yes, indeed.
You been using them words we taught you.
Oh, yes, sir. I uses them words loud, proud, and strong. Anytime one of them highfalutin Negroes come around here telling me to read some kind of fancy paper for myself, I calls them coon and bootlickers. I sure do, sir. And the rest of them around this plantation, they've been saying another word. They say it's sellout. I know you ain't teach it to me, sir, but it sounded awful fancy, so I decided to use it for myself.
I got some new words.
Oh, yes, sir. I was learning real good. What is this, sir?
It's dictator, fascist, and Nazi.
Oh, okay. Dictator. Fascist. Nazi. Okay, sir. Right. Those sound awful fancy, sir. What they mean?
Don't matter what they
mean.
You
right, sir. You right, sir. Pardon. I get ahead of myself. I know that I shouldn't ask you nothing. I know that you tell me what's best, sir. Don't matter what they mean. Just matters that you told me to say them, and I got to learn them real good. Yes, sir.
You got them leftovers?
Oh, yes, sir. We got them leftovers. We sure mighty obliged for them, sir. Yeah, Overseer Crockett, Overseer Obama, and Overseer Waters told us you sent them, sir. Because we wouldn't be able to get by without your handouts and your program, so we can't do it on our own. And they make sure they remind us of that, sir. Yes, indeed, they do. We got some more leftovers coming, on the first? Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, thank you, sir, because they even told us, they talking about we got to get some identification, and we knows we can't do that on our own. We're not smart enough. We need you.
That's right.
That's right, sir. I appreciate you for dropping by here, letting us know that you're still thinking about us, sir. Feels awful good. All right, sir. Thank you for dropping by. Okay. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. I mean, can you get any better than that? Isn't that where we're at today? Getting them leftovers from the snaps and them leftovers, and they drop by and visit you and tell you the words you can use. Isn't that? I mean, Mike, that's racist. No, that's pointing out racist. Funny how when somebody starts pointing out what is racist, then they call you a racist. Isn't that weird? I'm kind of changing directions in the way that I'm going to go because I thought of another post, but I got some more discussions on what racism really, really, really is, but I thought of another post here that I wanted to share. Oh, this one right here. Speaking of the SNAP benefits, this is crazy.
Next month, Jerilee King will turn 85 years old. But before she can blow out her candles, she says she'll have to brush up her resume.
And hopefully they'll be hiring old ladies at that point.
To no fault of her own, King now owes the state thousands of dollars. And we aren't just taking her word for it. The Department of Health and Human Services admitted it in writing.
We have made an error.
Back in 2021, the state told King she qualified for SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps. For 3.5 years, she received between $112 and $348 a month, according to her SNAP monthly accounting statement. As a widow living alone on her Social Security check of about $1,300 a month, she says it was a great help.
It made a big difference. It sure did. I didn't have to worry. I knew that I had enough to sustain me.
The worry started last year when the benefits just stopped. Then a few months later, the Y arrived in the mail. The state says it realized she actually never qualified for the benefits in the first place. Quote, the agency failed to input the correct resource amount, causing the household to receive SNAP benefits they were not eligible for.
I began to tell other people about it. Have you ever heard of such a thing? And they just looked at me like I'd lost my mind.
The state's mistake came with a massive bill for King, nearly $9,000.
Then I realized, no, they really want their money back. Good luck.
But here's the catch. The government isn't just picking on King. Federal law requires states to claw back overpayments, even when the state is the one that messed up. It's a fine print reality most applicants won't see.
There's not really anything in the application that will warn them that there's the potential for the agency to make an error that would result in the overpayment like that.
Those errors do happen. In Texas, the error rate in 2024 was 8%. The majority is for overpayments, but the number also includes underpayments. While that's better than the national average, which is almost 11%, it's not low enough for the federal government. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill signed last year, states have until 2027 to drop that error rate to 6%, or the state will have to pay up. HHS told 13 Investigates in a statement that to lower the state's error rate, they're implementing targeted case reviews, enhanced staff training, and clearer policy guidance to prevent errors before they happen. That's a future fix that wouldn't help King now.
When you make a mistake, you have to rectify it in some way. You know, you don't just palm it off on somebody else and say, oh, I made a mistake, here, you fix it.
King now has no choice but to pay the money back. She got this letter from the U.S. Treasury notifying her that they'll be garnishing up to 15% from her Social Security benefits every month, which is about $200. Now, there's uncertainty for King heading into her 85th year. She wonders how she'll afford to eat. For a woman who spent her life working, the help she received has become a debt she'll be paying until she's almost 90.
I wouldn't take a quarter from the government if they begged me to at this point, or for any reason, for any kind of help.
You know, in the loan industry, there's what they call unsuable. And people like Tina in the comment section will know what I'm talking about. Where if you're living just on Social Security, you're unsuable because the average loan company, the average bank, can't garnish Social Security, but the government can. They made an error in this lady's favor, and now they're punishing this lady for their error. These are the people the Bible specifically said for us to take care of. Now, that's for the Christians, the church to take care of, corporately, the Christians to take care of. But we've advocated that to the government. The government has replaced Daddy and God. And it's a shame. You see, I've said for a long time that if you're on some sort of government assistance, if you live off the government, whether it be your Social Security check, I paid for that. That's my money. No, you were taxed for that. The money that you paid into Social Security went to pay for those people back then. There's no lockbox. There's no money with your name on it. Nothing. Zip, zero, nada. By the way, President Trump has floated the idea of retirement accounts with $1,000 match every single year. You could set up your government retirement account, and if you contribute $1,000 a year, the government will contribute $1,000 a year, and then you can invest it. You can invest that money and let it grow however risk you want to take on it. The way I see it is that's $1,000 more in your pocket. And you see, if you started when you were 20 years old investing $1,000 a month into a growth stock mutual fund or an IRA, like a 401k or a Roth, or whichever one you choose. In fact, I think you should do both. Now, by the time you're 65, it'd be millions of dollars. I thought that was only for kids. No, this is a different program. It has not been enacted. The one for the kids was in the big, beautiful bill. So it would take more legislation to do this. But this is another proposal from Donald Trump. And if they do that, I'm in on it. Absolutely, I'm in on it. Every single time. You know, we have a problem in our society. We're not taking care of the old folks and the widows, and we're not taking care of the orphans. And we're allowing the insane asylum to run our country. People are upset because they wanted to charge for an extra ketchup packet.
Give me my car. ¿Ya tomaron la caja? Okay. No, yo te... Déjame, please.
Did you hear that the Target in Minneapolis, the one downtown, the one that was destroyed during the Black Lives Matters, has paid $110 million to pay off its rest of its contract for its lease and shut down and leave? I don't know why they would do that. Says, no, Mike, I invested through my job 401k 15 years. 9/11 happened and all my money but $5K just disappeared. True story. And did you take your money out and quit your 401k? Because if you did, that wasn't very smart. Because it would be worth a lot more now. My 401k, my Roth IRA, which I haven't contributed to in years, by the way, lost 70% of its value in 2007, 8, and 9. It has now exceeded that by double. And when the market collapses again in the very near future, it will probably lose even more, but then it will come back. That's the way it works. It's not a short-term deal. It's a long-term deal. So, yeah, it's all, but you do you. I have a friend. This person worked at a factory for years and 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 years, like 30, 40, 45 years. Recently, like last year, she converted her entire retirement plan to gold and silver. She's very happy about that decision. It's a considerable amount of money that she has acquired. Anyways, good times. It just depends. I lost my entire life savings in a Ponzi scheme. Chances are I'll never invest again. Well, actually, I can't. It was stolen. That's a bad idea. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Right? Sorry, I need a little sip of my water. I go around, when I go to auctions, I buy these old mugs. I love the old glass mugs, the old glass beer mugs like that. Just love them. And I don't buy them. The new ones today are I mean, this one is, oh, you hear it. It's thick. The new ones are so thin and brittle. So I converted mine too. Very happy. The only drawback is you can't draw on it without penalties until you're 70. That's true. Yep. I like these old, you could buy, I buy them at estate sales and auctions for pennies. I mean, literally, but they're the best. And I don't even drink beer. I just like the mugs. Mason jar for me. Well, you can get those too. You can get the mason jars too, whatever works. It's all good. So Stephen A. Smith, let me see if I can't find it here. Here it is. Stephen A. Smith and Representative Wesley Hunt talking about Gavin Newsom and his pandering.
Gavin Newsom, I can feel one way about it. How did you feel about it?
I call it the soft bigotry of low expectations. There are a lot of black men and women that aren't like that. A lot of us really did study hard. We really did work very hard. You see, I had parents that believed in education. We had a sign in our house that said Jesus plus education equals success. There's a reason why my brother, sister, and I all went to West Point. There's a reason why I earned 3 master's degrees in 4 years from Cornell University. My brother is a Harvard Business School graduate. My sister has her master's degree in applied mathematics. It was a West Point instructor while both my brother and I were cadets, and we were black doing it the entire time. And so when you say that I can't read and I have a 960 SAT, the insinuation that you are putting on all black people is that we are a monolith, is that this is how you view us. This is what you really think about us. And look, I understand some of it may have been a little bit tongue-in-cheek and he was pandering to an audience, but for whatever reason, I see a lot of pandering that comes from the left. I think about Hillary Clinton carrying hot sauce in her purse. I think about Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. I think about Kathy Hochul talking about, black kids don't even know what a computer is. And I see these kinds of things and I just shake my head. That is not who we are as a people. Now, Stephen, you talk about you didn't do good on your SATs, but you have a pretty extensive vocabulary, as I have heard over the years. So clearly you're an astute man and you have studied quite a bit. But that's just it. We are not the same. And you have to understand why that's insulting to people like me. Gavin, you're not like me. I studied my butt off to get here. I worked my butt off to get here. Hard work, grit, determination. And I'm standing on my own 2 feet as a black man that represents a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 20 points. And I won by 25 points because I'm being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. And there are a lot of conservative white people and black people and Hispanic people that voted for me. But under no circumstance are you going to just belittle us by assuming that all black people have a 960 SAT and we can barely read.
That's the problem. That's the racism, is assuming. Because here you got a couple of fellers who are dark complected,
It's study
who
hard.
are probably a couple right here. I just put this up on the screen. Who are probably a couple of the most articulate people, period, in the United States of America right now. Stephen A. Smith and Wesley Hunt, who's a West Point graduate. Stephen A. Smith, who's come up as a pundit in sports, but is garnered an audience because of his ability to articulate, unlike the Patriot Mike Show, articulate his thoughts. He does a great job. And sometimes I agree with him, and sometimes I don't. But he's an honest intellectual. He's honest intellectually in his thoughts, which is the way it should be. You don't always have to agree, but you got to at least agree with yourself. There's some of these people that argue against themselves depending on what week it is. Like, for example, Representative Presley. This is one of the most bigoted, racist people in the United States.
April, again, as someone who's been calling for the defunding and abolishing of it since 2018, it cannot be reformed. This is not about training, in my opinion. This is not about new standards or protocols. If the KKK cannot be reformed, then ICE certainly cannot be, because this is just another group of masked white militia.
The KKK, the ICE is the KKK is a masked white militia. Well, what about all the Hispanic and black guys in the ICE? Well, they just house Negroes. I got you. Now I know. I understand. Sorry, I got to go back to the first video that I played. This is the new iteration of the race hustling poverty pimp. That's what she is. She makes a living being a racist. By the way, the KKK was a Democrat Party thing. The KKK was created by the Democrats to lynch white Republicans in the South, helping black people vote. Government never does anything well. The only thing the government does well is with the military, and that's killing people and breaking things. That's it. Everything else the government does is a complete and utter failure. In fact, that's why it was the only thing mandated in our Constitution for the government to do. Everything was left. For example, Zoltron decided he's going to pay people $45 an hour to shovel snow. And it's been very efficient.
Yeah, how much I get paid for this? $45 an hour?
Hard work. It reminds me of the old story I heard one time. Guy was driving down the road and he's going into town. And on the side of the road, he noticed some construction workers all standing around, road workers, and there was a hole dug in the road, and they were standing there, and they was looking down in that hole. Nobody was doing anything that he could tell. And then as he's going in further on into town, he noticed this big tortoise walking on the road, just on the side there. When he come back through, all them construction workers were there beating the snot out of the tortoise, with the shovels. And he pulled over and said, "What are you guys doing?" And the city road, the state road department guys were going, "We're tired of this thing passing us every other day." Yeah, all standing around doing nothing. See, at $45 an hour, it behooves the worker to not get a lot of work done. If they did an hour's work in an hour, they'd make $45. But if they can cram an hour's worth of work into 8 hours, well, they get 8 times the money. When I got out of the Army and I found my way here to Central Missouri, I got a job at the school as a janitor. I got a job at the school as a janitor, cleaning stuff up. And what I learned that I had to do is I had to cram 4 hours of work into 8 hours. I hated that job. I'd rather be on the other end of the stick. I'd rather be run all day. Talk about making a long day longer. Ugh. Anyways, I got my brother hired on there, and he just retired from there. So he's done it a long time. Here's another. This is from Stossel TV.
You could get rid of all police shootings of civilians tomorrow, and it would have virtually no effect on the Black death by homicide rate. Blacks between the ages of 10 and 25 die of gun homicide at 25 times the rate of whites in that age category. And they're not being killed by the cops. They're being killed by other Blacks. And nobody wants to talk about it. We're supposed to believe that we're all racist. It's the media that's racist. They don't give a damn about Black lives. They don't give a damn about the dozens of Blacks who are killed by homicide every single day. That's more than all white and Hispanic homicide victims combined, even though, as we said, Blacks are 13% of the population. Virtually none of those Black homicide victims gets covered. We are not saying their names because they're killed by other Blacks, and we don't want to talk about that. So the Ferguson effect says when you demonize the cops back off. And guess what happens? When the cops stop making stops, when they stop looking at hot spots where shootings have happened and they back off, criminals get emboldened and more Black lives are taken. That's what happened after the Ferguson riots, after the George Floyd race riots in 2020. We had an even greater meltdown. We had every single American elite institution declaring it was racist to the core. And the cops were, of course, as usual, one of the main targets of this. 2020 saw the largest one-year increase in homicide in this nation's history, 29%, and thousands more Black lives were taken. That's what happens when you demonize the cops.
That's right. Here's another story. A good friend of mine who's now a multi-business owner, very successful, wealthy man, told me a story that when he first got out of the Navy, about the same time I got out of the Army, he got a job working at a major construction site for a major construction company that was unionized. And he said he showed up the first day and they told him what to do, and he did whatever he was told to do, and then the lunch bell rang. So he went and sat down by a tree to eat his lunch that he had packed. Everybody else left to go to town to get something to eat. He just went and sat by a tree. And he said while he was sitting there, he noticed this dozer chinking down this gravel road that was right by the tree where he was sitting. And he looked up and he saw that there was a shovel and a rake and a couple other utensils laying across the road. So he set his sandwich down, ran over there, threw the shovel and the rake and the tools off the road so that the dozer operator didn't have to stop, get out, move himself, or run them over. 1 o'clock came and it was time to get back to work, and he packed his stuff away and put it in his car and walked over to start doing his job. And his supervisor came up with a check for the 4 hours he worked and said, "Son, you took the job away from a journeyman when you moved that shovel. As a laborer, you're not allowed to touch shovels. So here's your check, you're fired." And he's like, "But the dozer was not your job." You see, he had the idea in his head he's supposed to do whatever it takes to make it get done right the first time. By the way, this has made him a very, very successful man, being anal when it comes to making things right in his business. It's made him very, very, very successful. But he was told you're fired because he picked up a shovel, and he wasn't authorized to do that as a union. That's another thing. Unions represent the least common denominator, not the best. It doesn't do the best, it does the worst. That's what unions do. That's what most people fail to understand about that. That's why I'm against unions, by the way. Think about this. That's why I'm against the unions. Just think about this. Donald Trump becoming president last year. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz not winning. Think about the bullet we dodged. This could have been your State of the Union. Thank God. Thank God that was not the outcome. Thank God. Because it could have been a lot. It could have been a lot worse. So here's another one. This is Democrats versus Blacks. PSA announcement. This lady is going to make it her life work.
I believe for the rest of my life, I'll be doing the Lord's work. I'm going to make sure no black person is a Democrat ever again. I hope you got enough common sense and critical thinking to understand what's going on right now. I'm about to give you all the facts. Every day I think I'm going to come on here and tell you what these clowns have done to you. Can you just notice that they never got a solution for you and they always calling you a victim? That's number one. You always need Medicaid. You always need food stamps. You always need government assistance. Why? Why you can't need a job? Why you can't need an education? Why you can't need a better job? Why you can't need a house? Why you can't need a better car? Why you can't need better things than motherfucking government assistance? Lyndon Johnson said he gonna have these niggas voting for Democrats for the next 200 years because that's how goofy you is. They filibustered the Civil Rights Act. It was the last record they had in Congress. They took men out of your homes. They would rather them be homosexual than to be a man in a home raising a family. Do y'all not see this? They claim to be Christians, but do everything against God. Are y'all Christians? I do not understand what's happening. Do you believe God's word or do you make it fit to your lifestyle? I do not understand what's going on. Was the dashikis not enough? When they walk their ass out there with dashikis on and your ass ain't never been to Africa. But they thought the dashiki was unity for you. They play in your damn face. They play in your face and you let them do it. You let them work up your emotions. You let them build fear. What happened to us being slaves now? We supposed to be slaves 6 months into Trump presidency and all locked up in concentration camps. These niggas is in.
Well, she said it. I don't have to say it. As the inner city black preacher friend of mine says, well, that's all I got to say about that. So let's see. DD601 says, Mike, when is Elevate going to be available? Now, you want to know what that person's talking about is a new peptide product coming out from our company. It's in soft launch. You can only buy it if you're a social marketer. If you're signed up as a social marketer, you can buy it. But all the individual packs are gone. You have to buy the big pack of multiple bottles. That's all that's left. It will become available after next week, I believe, along with 3 or 4 other products that they're launching. So, now mind you, let me just remind you about this great company and why this opportunity gets gooder and gooder and gooder. Number one, it's not unionized. As a matter of fact, there's no working no pay. But we started with one product. And I've been going through my last year's finances. We started with one product in August. We now have, I don't even know how many products, several. and several more on the way, and several more after that. In fact, I was told by John that they have probably double the amount of products we have now. Meaning if we have 15 products right now, they have 30 more products lined up in the pipeline to come out in the next year or two. And the reason that they're doing this is they're slowly building up to have the capability to handle that kind of volume. So that's part of it too. Our months, by the way, just listen, if you're in a company, you have a little bit of a team, you're making a little bit of money, or you were and it's dried up on you. I have no idea about the blue stuff. I don't have any idea about that stuff. I have no idea what's coming. He won't tell me. Secret information. He knows I'll tell. But it is kind of understand the timing of things. A lot of time in network marketing, in these types of businesses, it's all about timing. There's a reason why Apple introduces a new phone and then has scarcity. It's called scarcity marketing. People line up to be the first one to get the phone. Same thing, Nike does the same thing. It's just the way it is. In this case, they're not doing it on purpose. They just don't have the bandwidth to do it all at once. But that's the way it's working out. But let me just point something out to you. That almost every month since August, they've doubled their sales. Think about that. Think about that growth. Think about that. Now, there's no guarantee in anything. It could fail tomorrow. There's a company a couple of my friends were involved with. Did y'all see that text coin, what do they call that? It was just shut down by the government. Now they were trying to get me into that thing, and I'm like, no, I don't do crypto. They were shut down by the government. Gone. So some things maybe ought not do. But this is a real product with real people. And these people are trying to do everything they can to stay in compliance with what the government says and not be shut down because there's rules you have to follow. You have to do things the right way. You can't make promises that overdo them. The reason why I say chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off, the reason why I say it's helped me, and I don't make any straight up statements because it doesn't treat or cure any disease when I talk about these products, is because you can't. And if you hear somebody, some other company, even this company, making claims of this will do this for you, this will do that for you, you can't do that. Got to watch your words. Anyways, so that guy that was given the 100-year-old man that was given the Congressional Medal of Honor, here's his story.
For those of you that don't know, the man above me fought in 3 wars, is over 100 years old, and was just awarded the Medal of Honor for actions that he took 74 years ago. His name is Elmer Royce Williams, Captain Elmer Royce Williams, and he was born in 1925 in South Dakota, is now a resident of Escondido, California. He's a retired U.S. Navy captain and aviator who served in World War II, the Korean War, and also the Vietnam War. He served for 37 years, accumulating numerous accolades over his career, including the Navy Cross, upgraded from a Silver Star in 2023, 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, a Legion of Merit with V device, a Bronze Star Medal, 2 Meritorious Service Medals, 11 Air Medals, and the South Korean Order of Military Merit. He's been described as a quiet legend and a, quote, real-life Top Gun. And pretty much everybody that knows him has said that this is the most humble dude on the face of the earth. He was presented his Medal of Honor by the First Lady Melania Trump during the State of the Union address. Now, Captain Williams received the Medal of Honor nearly 74 years after the event for his extraordinary heroism on November 18th of 1952 during a classified mission in the Korean War. Now, at the time, he was flying an F-9 Foxtrot 5 Panther jet from the USS Oriskany as part of Fighter Squadron 781, and Williams led a patrol that encountered 7 Soviet MiG-15 jets over the Sea of Japan while they were out on patrol. This became one of the longest and most unique aerial dogfights in the entire Cold War, lasting over 35 minutes when Williams engaged all 7 aircraft alone after his wingmen were forced to disengage. Now, despite being outnumbered and outgunned, his Panther was slower, less maneuverable than the MiGs. He shot down 4 of them using his skillful tactics, including evasive maneuvers and precise gunnery. Only 1 Soviet jet returned from the mission, and Williams managed to land his plane, which was heavily damaged, by the way, back on the carrier. Now, this incident involving direct combat with Soviet pilots remained classified for over 50 years to avoid escalating Cold War tensions, and it remained secret until declassified in around 2010. And the reason it was declassified and recognized was because of Representative Darrell Issa, who pushed for the award through legislation in the 2026 National Defense Authorization Act. He waited a long time, but he damn sure deserved that medal.
So he took on 7 in an inferior aircraft because that aircraft was a turd bag. It really was. It was like if you notice something about the MiG-15s, they had swept wings. Well, why is that important? When you're dealing with jet aircraft, the swept wing gives you a ton more maneuverability. The straight wings of that turd he was flying, they could outturn, outdive, and outclimb him. Yet he had superior tactics and skills, and he took care of the issue. So Ilhan Omar brought in a radical anti-ICE guest into Trump's address, and she was then arrested for obstructing people trying to watch the president's speech on the Capitol. Go figure.
Is that this is an ongoing fear and threat for people around this country. What happened to me is absolutely not new in the history of this country, and we have not seen accountability that gives me any reason to believe this won't be done to somebody else. So that's what I'm thinking about today. And honestly, I'm glad that it's me sitting in that seat rather than somebody who's cheering for what happened to me.
Well, this person brought in by Ilhan Omar, a radical anti-ICE, anti-American activist, probably an illegal alien, I don't know. But, leave it up to Ilhan Omar to hate the country that's given her so much, given her $30 million. Leave it up to Ilhan Omar. What a wonderful human being. Now, here's another lady on Ilhan Omar. Somebody's saying it must be a slow news day. No, I'm talking about things. It's Friday. I'm talking about things I want to talk about. We'll get to the Hillary Clinton stuff here in a little bit, but first I want to talk about other things. And if I don't talk about them now, I won't get to them when I get to the Hillary stuff. So we're going to talk about them now. Here is this woman, just a regular old woman on TikTok, expressing what most of us want to say about Ilhan Omar.
I can't even watch these things because they piss me off so bad. Because the second I see Ilhan Omar sitting there yelling in what's supposed to be a professional environment, I know everything's just a fucking joke to everyone now, but I'm just like, that little fucking beanhead, Somalian beanhead popping off. I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to be like, shut your foreign fucking mouth. Why is she still in this country? Why is she allowed to be here and behave like this? Whoever is responsible for signing off on her immigration papers for her to be in this country should be in fucking jail for the rest of their life. I've never disliked someone in politics more than that bitch.
Well, of course, Jay Boland down there going, she's hot. Come on, man. You're wrong. You're just wrong. No, she's right, though. I mean, no American votes for Ilhan Omar. And when we get done deporting all the Somalians, none of them will vote for her either because she'll be in jail. Why do you keep saying that? Because it's what God told me. She's not going to get deported, although Donald Trump's talking about it. Here is Assistant AG Dillon on the Benny Show. Right at the beginning here, she talks about several things here, but listen to what she says about Ilhan Omar.
To see her contempt, and right next to her, Rashida Tlaib, another person with an immigrant background. Look, Ilhan Omar has some legal issues regarding her citizenship. I'll just leave it at that. I think that they've been well covered in the press, but it's shameful. And I am so happy to be an American, and people need to get out there and touch some grass in other countries and see what they go through to really appreciate how great we have it in this country. But freedom isn't free, and every generation needs to fight for it. And if we're complacent about it, we will lose it. And history has shown us that that civilizations that get fat and happy usually lose it. And we're so fat and happy that we're handing out billions of dollars to scamsters in these blue states and not caring about it at the same time that California has the lowest reading standards in the United States and has broken roads and has an open border and has, there's sewage issues and you name it. It's insane. And so we cannot take this beautiful country for granted. I will not, as long as I draw breath, always be very proud to be an American and fight for what America means and why my parents brought me here to this country.
Yeah, that was an interesting answer. Could you elucidate at all for us on these citizenship issues for Ilhan Omar? Will we ever see anything on that? I will tell you that I was very
anything, but
sure.
I think it's been well covered, and I covered it certainly myself before I joined the DOJ. That certainly it's a truism of immigration law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining your citizenship, if you lie about being that you weren't a Nazi guard at a concentration camp, you can be denaturalized. If you lie about your marriage status on which your citizenship depends, or your familial status, or what have you, if you fake any of those documents or you lie, that's a grounds for denaturalization. And so I think it's been credibly alleged that there are serious questions about the circumstances of the paperwork around that naturalization. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not working on that issue. That's not part of what the Civil Rights Division does. But I think we need to police that seriously. It is a precious privilege to be granted citizenship as a naturalized citizen in this country. And I don't think it should be taken away lightly, but if it's just a basic concept of law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining a benefit, you're not entitled to it.
So there's somebody in the DOJ looking into her fraud? It sounds like it. I can't talk about that, but let me talk about it. Oh boy, it is. We live in an insane world. Do we not? Do we not live in an insane world? So I'm going to talk about this here real quick. I was going to talk about it at the end, but I'm talking at the beginning. So yesterday I brought up some of this. So Candace Owens has got her documentary on Erica Kirk, the bride of the bride of Charlie. She did that on purpose. Somebody was saying in one of the comments on somebody else's show, well, can you prove what you're saying about Candace Owens and Erica? Can you prove it? Can you prove? Here's the thing. In our society, you're innocent until proven guilty. And everything that Candace Owens and the others have put out is not admissible in court because it's hearsay. She can't prove her case in court. So she's trying her in public opinion, which has got a way non-existent bar. One of the things that they keep talking about is Erica's ex-boyfriend, and they got all kinds of BS, Patriot mythology, insurgency BS about the ex-boyfriend. I don't know how much of it's true and how much it ain't, and I don't care. I did post on somebody's post. I think it was Anomaly or somebody. I'm grateful that nobody judges me by my ex-wife. I'm just saying, my ex-wife that I met in high school, we got married, and my 3 grown children come from, had a very, very, very interesting life after me. And I'm not going to drag nobody through the mud. Just say those of you that know, I'm just grateful that I'm not judged on that. Oh, look, Mike Cook's blah, 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 because his ex. My God, the things you could come up with if you looked into that. Woo! Don't ask about tattoos. I don't have any. Those that know, don't say it. I don't think there's very many people on the chat that even know. You have to have lived in my neck of the woods in the early 90s to know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying. So I don't think there's very many on here. Let's see here. The people that follow me. No, I don't think so. Oh, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? But I'm just grateful that nobody's judging me. Nobody's going, oh, look, Mike's an evil person because he has an ex-wife and she's unusual. But that's what they're doing to Erica. And they got this whole thing out. And I stepped on some people's toes and said something yesterday, and you guys came out and had to defend your hero, Candace Owens. And all I got to say is, y'all got played. The stuff that came out the last 2 days, y'all got played. All of the Candace Owens bros out there defending Candace Owens against the attack of the paid for mega types, y'all got played. I find this hilarious. Y'all got played big time.
So yesterday, a handful of the Candace Owens-led demons of propaganda decided to walk themselves into what could very well be a very expensive defamation lawsuit. So expensive that some of these folks very well may end up living in a van down by the river by the time people are done with them. Sure, some of these people might try to pretend like they didn't know that the slop that they were pushing was fake and that they got played by a known Australian parody account and a 500-follower account who created a hypothetical scenario of what it might look like if a PSYOP campaign was being run against Candace Owens. Well, the problem is the guy tried to warn them and they ignored him. You see, it all started when Candace Owens started promoting the premiere of her new film, Bride of Charlie, similarly to like The Bride of Chucky, the horror film. And the pushback that she received was epic. Social media banded together and started crashing her threads, calling her out. And then the label of demon and demonic started sticking to every single one of them like Gorilla Glue. And they got terrified. They got very nervous that Candace Owens was yet again going to be exposed as a total propagandist fraud. So they got to work. To call her demons of propaganda into action, Candace took to her X account and said, Zionists are putting in real work hours promoting our upcoming series. I would like to extend them all my deepest gratitude. We're a small team and couldn't do it without your steadfast commitment to hysterics. See you tomorrow. This is the type of post that she does when she wants her people to get to work. And they did. And then the next thing that happens is Matt Wallace, a large account over on X that has over 2 million followers, posted this. Full disclosure, I was offered money today to say bad things about Candace Owens and turned it down. As far as I can tell, provided no proof, no verification, nothing. Just threw it out there and let it fester. But so did the parody accounts. So enter Australia First Only, who posted this. The coordinated talking points are out in full force. And he goes through a list that this known parody account compiled of a couple of influencers who seem to be using similar language, like shocked, surprised that people would call demonic activity demonic. And because the demons of propaganda know that the little piggies that lap up their slop aren't smart enough to do just a little bit of digging, nobody bothered to go find out who Australia First is, because if they had, they would have known that this is a parody account. He was literally making fun of them, and they're not smart enough to know it. And then the defamation campaign began. You're going to notice all throughout these large influencer accounts, you're going to start to see what is alleged to be an email that was sent to large conservative influencers, inviting them in to be paid to criticize Candace Owens using very specific language, demonic, demon, all the things that people were already calling her. And the demons of propaganda just kept it spinning. People like Morgan Ariel, who then posts a list of influencers who were paid to smear Candace Owens and call her a demon, has been released. And then she lists about 10 different influencers, all of whom said absolutely not. They were never approached and were never paid, but they didn't care. Now, taking you back to Candace's original call to action and then the email, and now enter cognitive.eth. In the same thread says, do not share this. I created it using AI just to test what I think might have been sent out as marching orders. I posted it on a page with something like, this is probably happening. And you can pause and you can read the screenshot of that comment in the call to action thread that Candace sent out. So now I want to take you back to the parody account, and I want you to watch this thread unfold. You're going to see right here, Cognitive EH says, well, if they all receive the same email with marching orders, it would look something like this per AI. And then you're going to notice down here, the comments under his post, people acknowledging that it was not real. It's not your fault. You were very clear. Not a bad day's work. Do you see that? It was fake. And they knew it. And how do I know that they knew it? Because he told them right there. He tried to warn them. Don't share that email. It's not real. It was a hypothetical scenario of what a campaign could look like based on a prompt that he gave AI to generate a fake email. But you see, that just simply doesn't matter to the leaders of the demon of propaganda, a guy by the name of Project Constitution, who, despite the fact that they should have known that it was fake, post this, exposed multi-million-dollar psyop to silence Candace Owens before the Bride of Charlie drops today. They're not even hiding it anymore. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the same liar who just a couple months ago was trying to convince his audience that Erica Kirk and JD Vance were long-lost Rothschilds brothers and sisters. And then just yesterday, Candace Owens just uncovered Eric Kirk's secret, early years. And it's wilder than anybody expected. Was Erica born a male? And this is why they do it. Because they make money and they know they have an entire army of little piggies that run around lapping up the slop that they're sending out across the internet, and who, after are informed that what they were doing was based on an AI generated hoax, are jumping into people's comments saying that because they don't care. Because they don't care at all about the fact that everybody knows that they're lying to you. They don't care. What they care about is the millions of views that it generates and the money that that puts in their pocket and the chaos that it creates. That's all.
Now, I started this talking about Candace Owens because it was about Candace Owens, but that's not why I shared it. This is how the Patriot mythology pushers push you. This is how they get the Patriot mythology going. This is the circular firing, not circular firing squad. This is the cluster F. That's what they call it in the military. This is how they got 30,000 people to show up at the mall in Dallas to see RFK Jr. come back alive with Michael Jackson. This is how they do this. And people fall for this crap. You just got to ask yourself some common sense questions. Like, for example, I'm grateful that no one talks about, uses my ex to criticize me. You know, there's a reason we're exes. The reason we got divorced in 1993, there's a reason for that. All of this stuff that they say, completely unprovable, complete crap. They make stuff up. They make connections that don't connect. And, oh, you've got to do your research. Well, if you go to that where he talked about and you scroll down and do your research, you'll find out it's all fake. But you don't want to research that. You research the stuff that makes you believe what you want to believe. These people know how to do psyops. They know how to manipulate the algorithms to produce incomes for themselves and get rich. And I guarantee you this, that of the top producers of this garbage, they all know it's fake. They all know it's lies, and they don't care because they get to build their multi-million-dollar houses and live in the fancy house on the hill and get rich. You see, I researched Erica and let me tell you something. Where did you research them? On the internet? Because everything on the internet is true. It's all true. God said, do not go down the rabbit hole. There's nothing but death there. You know where I did my research on Charlie Kirk? I asked God. Let me ask you a question. Is there redemptive grace in Christ? Are you a Christian? Do you believe in salvation and redemptive grace? If so, does that apply to Erica? Could Erica been a hoochie mama and got saved and then changed through the redemptive grace of Christ into a God-fearing Christian woman? Let me point something out to you. Why do you really care about Candace? Because this is God's trying to make points here, is what I'm saying. When I may have fell for this crap a couple years ago, but now dealing with the embassy and seeing the change in people, seeing a guy who is so strung out on heroin he can't even stand up, become a pastor after a number of years. And not only that, but a Holy Ghost-filled pastor with his beautiful wife that God is doing amazing things with. One good-eyed noble says, I was a mess until I found the Lord. Exactly. So all you people criticizing them for their past, look what Charlie was doing in his now, his legacy. You see, Shirley, here's the problem. Here's what shows me that you've got some issues. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Answering about believing in redemption. So now you're judging my relationship in the Lord Jesus? That's great. All because I research. I wasn't talking about you at all. I was talking about judging people, other people than yourself, and applying the same redemption Christ gave you to them. Well, did you see the way she was when she was in high school? Well, how is she now? What has God done for her? You should praise God about that. But instead, you react with a knee jerk and get upset because it's all about you. It's not about you. That's the problem. When you start going, but me, it's about me, then maybe you should be wrong. I wasn't even judging them. I was looking for answers. And creating a conspiracy and jumping into all the stuff that Candace is saying and agreeing with Candace and spreading the Candace stuff. Looking for answers. I have not looked for answers in Erica or Charlie other than asking God about it. And God has told me some things. And let me tell you something. If she's the one with the beautiful eyes that will pour the oil out, and I don't know that she is, you are fulfilling the first part of that prophecy. All right, I'm going to move on because some of y'all want me to shut up about it. So I'm going to shut up about it. I just love the reactions. I do. Because it says a lot more about you. Because I wasn't talking about you, but you take it personally. Fun times. Here is Eric Swalwell for governor, for all you folks that live out in California. But how can he be governor when he lives in D.C.? That is an interesting question. The world's fourth largest economy deserves a fighter, and I'm ready to step into the ring for California. And I'm bringing Fang Fang along. What California needs is as the fourth largest economy is in the world, is a street fighter. Spirit of Eric Swalwell. I bet there's some spirits there. California, you got him. Eric Swalwell. I'm not saying Charlie's still alive. The whole point is not. What the heck are you talking about? Who said Charlie's still alive? I've never said that. I've never even heard that. You guys are crazy. Some of this stuff is just nuts. Here, speaking of nuts and crazy, who is this guy? What's his name? I don't know I don't remember what y'all know this comedian guy. He trolls Charlie. He trolls Eric Swalwell there in DC. It's hilarious.
Eric, is this Fang Fang the Chinese spy, Eric? Remember when you slept with that Chinese spy, Eric? Why don't you ever talk about that, Fang Fang? Remember you're banging Fang Fang? Did she give you anal? People are saying that she gave you an insertion. Is that true? This is the guy's banging Chinese spies. Nobody investigates you, Eric. Why is that? Nobody investigates this guy banging Chinese spies like it's no big deal.
Oh, Alex. Yeah, thank you for that. I can't believe his wife is still with him after Fang Fang. Well, there's a lot of money involved here. A lot of money involved. I mean, she could potentially be the first lady of California and maybe the first lady of the United States of America. If all goes right. You know, here's the thing. Well, you're judging him on his past. No, this is the current. He currently lives in D.C. and is trying to run for governor in California. And he does have an ex named Fang Fang that he was banging, who happened to be a Chinese spy. Just, you know. What? Which post are you referring to about Pepe and Brian Cates? I like both of them. I do like both of them. Oh, have you seen this? So this old boy, I don't know where he's speaking at city. See Tuesday during Warren County City Council in Michigan. This guy steps up and says this. Look, let me tell you something. I've been telling you that it's going to escalate. It's going to get worse. These people are nuts. They're going to go after Trump. They're going to go after ICE. They're going to go after politicians. They're going to go after public. There's going to be ambushes set up against law enforcement, terrorist attacks, that sort of thing. I don't know when or how, but listen, how many times are you seeing these videos on TikTok where these nut jobs are saying, I'm going to kill the president, or somebody, they don't say somebody needs to go out there and just take him out. Well, they're listening.
I have ordered a high power ATL 36X arriving shortly, which I hope to actually use to shoot the President of the United States. I'm not kidding. This is
Mr. Arnold.
a very high powerful item, and it's great for a headshot at a distance. And I didn't want it to be delivered by drone because I wouldn't want something like that to be in the wrong hands. That's it. Thank you.
If you got it, it's in the wrong hands. Woo! You see, and everybody's all, my gosh, look at this nut job. And there's something I do about this guy. You know, the problem is that the Secret Service and the security for the president has to be right 100% of the time. One of these nut jobs just has to be right once. That's the problem. And it isn't that it's organized, but it is. Well, that doesn't make no sense. Mike, you're an idiot. I am an idiot. I agree. But it's that these people all over the place are inspired by the crap that these people are saying. The Democrats, the pundits on CNN and MSNBC are saying, you know, he's Hitler and all this stuff. Somebody needs to take him out. Maxine Waters, if you see them in a restaurant or at a gasoline station or anywhere, you know, those kind of things. I don't necessarily trust Trump. I believe Trump is totally anointed to do what he's doing. I trust God. I trust God. I don't trust man at all. And I darn sure don't touch the Patriot mythology BS that's out there. And there's lots of it. But I found it on the internet. I found that video on the internet, and then I found this story about that video on the internet. These people are nut jobs. Gun removed from the home of a man who wished to shoot Trump. He claims misunderstanding. You misunderstood my words when I said I'm serious. Backstory. Now that man, Wesley Arnold, is being investigated by the Secret Service. Duh, I saw that coming. He claims it was all a big misunderstanding. I gave the Secret Service my picture I took, he said. Fox 2, you talked to the Secret Service. They just left. They're the ones that left before you got here, said Arnold. The Secret Service did remove a handgun from the home. The Secret Service just left, Fox 2 is reporting. They didn't arrest you, though? That may or may not happen. We'll see, he said, adding that he isn't worried. No, I'm a harmless old man. I'm a harmless old man. I believe in freedom of speech. I can say, I just bought a gun and I'm going to go shoot the president anytime I want. I believe in informing my city council. That speech was a little bit threatening, wouldn't you think? It turned out that way, but he said, you were going to kill the president? No, not at all. This is the way it went down, Arnold said. I'm in the habit of saying you shoot a headshot or you shoot a picture rather than you take a picture. That's not what you said. So when you said shoot, you meant by a camera, not a gun? Of course, he said. I would never shoot the president. I mean, now that I've been caught and they're coming after me and going to lock me in a prison. But you mentioned a gun. No, he said. During the meeting, Arnold mentioned a high-power ATL 36X arriving shortly. He said last night, which I hope to use to shoot the president of the United States. I'm not kidding. But today, in talking to Fox News, he claimed it was a long-distance lens for a camera. Somebody needs to look up. I haven't looked it up. I need to look up what somebody look up an ATL 36X, a high-powered ATL 36X. Somebody look that up for me. Tell me what it is. Is it a camera? Could be a camera. The guy's just a nut job. But you can see why people would be confused. Oh, yeah, it blew up, Arnold said. Just so we're clear, you don't want to shoot President Trump? Of course not. That would be crazy. I have no intent to shoot any public official except with a telephoto lens. If it is a telephoto lens, that was a pretty good troll. I'm just saying. But he's a nut job. Also in the news today, before we get to Hillary Clinton, just in case you wanted to know, super secretive Bohemian Grove Society members allegedly leaked as who's who of celebrity elite revealed. Some members of the elite super secretive men's club based in California wine country. There's the wine stuff again. That's a big fraud right there. Have allegedly been leaked with names ranging from late night host Conan O'Brien and billionaire former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and ex-Google CEO Eric Schmidt. The membership lived at Bohemian Grove, a private 2,700-acre compound in Sonoma County that hosts an annual 2-week retreat and has a clubhouse in San Francisco, was originally obtained by an independent journalist and confirmed by a club member according to the San Francisco Standard. That's a right-wing rag right there, I'll tell you. The inclusive list of more than 2,000 members in 2023 features a creme de la creme of business, tech, finance, all divided into camps, much like fraternities. The club is famous for its cremation of care ceremony at high-level networking and long rumored to have been acting as a social club for the powerful. I wonder if they eat beef jerky and pizza there. I don't know. Maybe hot dogs. I don't know. I've never even been to the neck of the woods, let alone there. Other names on the list includes former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi. What a shocker. And crooner Jimmy Buffett and billionaire political donor Charles Koch. Or Cook. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's Cook, isn't it? Bohemian Club spokesman said the group does not maintain list of its members due to the highly hush-hush nature of the secret society. Independent journalist Daniel Bozglaw got his hands on the alleged list by hounding a Bay Area-based member for weeks and published the names Wednesday. The Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, I'm shocked, was also apparently a member for a long time. Others like legendary actor Clint Eastwood and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas are rumored to be frequent guests. A very interesting picture you got there. Here are some of the highlights from the alleged 2023 membership. Paul Pelosi, Edwin Meese, Bobby Inman, Carlos Bo, James Baker, Edwin Fuller. In business is Charles Cook, Riley Beachett, the First brothers, Robert John and William Fisher, or the Fisher brothers, excuse me, William Dapier, Mike Bloomberg, Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, Brooke Byers, Tim Draper, and David Gifford Ascott. Wow, that's an interesting name. Anyways, there's the list. Come out. You can all see. It's a gay sex club. Well, okay. I don't know. I've never been there. I have no idea. I've heard things. Alex Jones once raided the place and had a secretive video of them doing weird stuff at their altar. But I've never been there, so I don't know. Here's another story. Did y'all hear the story? Netflix, which a minority owner of Netflix is Barack Hussein Obama. Did you know that? Netflix was trying to buy Warner Brothers so he can get a hold of them Animaniacs. He was trying to buy Warner and the Batman. He was trying to buy Warner Brothers. Netflix was. And so it also would have been Discovery Channel too. So it's Warner Brothers and Discovery Channel, one big package. You're trying to buy it, but it was almost about to go through. But Paramount put a counter offer, and today Netflix ditches deal with Warner Brothers Discoveries after Paramount's offer deemed superior. So it's not going to Netflix, minority owned by Barack Hussein Obama. It's going to looks like Paramount's going to buy it. By the way, Paramount was founded by Lucy and Desi Arnaz. Did you know that? It has been owned. I mean, they're dead. It has been owned. It's been owned by different owners since then, but used to be owned by Lucy and totally demise looking at lens. Oh. Said you're looking up the lens. Is that dismissed looking up lens? Huh. There's no lens. They just made it up, or is there a gun, or what are you saying? Time to make movies fit for Chinese audiences. Well, Paramount won't, but if you watch Netflix, there's a bunch of those kind of movies on there with old washed up actor Jackie Chan. I like Jackie Chan, by the way. I'm just kidding. He's just old and he's trying to do his karate moves, and it's like, not the same as it was 20 years ago. Paramount is not backed by Trump media, but Trump aligned people own Paramount. So interesting. It's a rifle scope. You looked it up. It's a rifle scope. Is that what you're saying? Wendy says it's a rifle scope. I don't know. I should have looked it up before, but the thought didn't cross my mind until I'm live on here. And that would be very boring for you with me typing in with my dyslexia, getting it wrong. I have to start over typing. Oh, that's not right. Have to look up how to spell the word. It just would not be fun. Or high-powered binoculars. Well, needless to say, the dude is a nut job.
No, the defense.
Oh my gosh, can't have that play. I got that video on there. If you want to go, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the many. That video, the best part of that video, where she's saying the defense is wrong. But I can't play that video because right now I'm on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, yes. High-powered binoculars or rifle scope. So so the people that are making it, the opticals, you could get it either way probably. But it wasn't for a camera or camera lens, which is kind of important in this case. So I'll skip the CNN stuff. Let's get straight to the Hillary Clinton. To the Hillary Clinton. Somebody was asking about the SAVE Act. I don't know. The SAVE Act there's a bunch of BS going on with that. It's the filibuster stuff. The filibuster stuff. That's where this argument is. And they don't want to get rid of the filibuster, although they should. That's where this argument is. Okay, here we go. So Hillary Clinton was in her she was in her deposition, and there was some stuff that they're supposed to release the whole thing today. We'll see how that goes. but she was in her deposition talking about the Epsteins. And of course, she's like, what with the cloth? What difference at this point does it make? I mean, let me tell you something. Hillary Clinton, we're going to find this is a master class of deflection, narcissism, and studied answers. Hillary Clinton is an expert at this. So, but something happened yesterday that's got me kind of, why would you do this? But so Bobart snapped a picture of her, and there was supposed to be no pictures of her, and sent it to the Benny show, and of course it caused a stir. And here, this is what happened.
Very quick thing. My name is Nick Merrill. I'm an advisor to Secretary Clinton. This is Angel Ernest, who's a advisor to President Clinton. The hearing just went off the record for a moment because it seemed, as some of you may have seen, that there were some photographs shared on social media, which is against chamber rules that were read at the top of the meeting. So the hearing has been paused briefly while they figure out where the photo came from and why possibly members of Congress are violating House rules. So we'll keep you updated. We just wanted to share what's happening inside. If you look on your Twitter feed, you know who it came from?
It came from Benny Johnson. He said Lauren Boebert gave it.
Yeah, look at Benny Johnson's feed. Good. We'll be back. Thanks. Sir.
Fizzle drip not mentioned. Interesting. Well, the members of Congress have no idea what they're talking about. They live in their little bubbles. That stuff, if it's real, will come out. Here's some more.
Secretary Clinton never met Jeffrey Epstein. She never visited the island. She never flew on his plane. She also had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crime. So zero knowledge of any wrongdoing. And you've also all heard that directly from her.
Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Clintons. I'm just putting that out there. So we have the photo. We'll get to the photo in a minute. But first, there's also a leaked video from the hearings. It went a little something. It went a little something like this. A little clip leaked from the hearings. Then there's this. This is going around. Hillary Clinton, I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. Meanwhile, Epstein once said Hillary Clinton was much prettier in person. No recollection, though. I ain't no ways tired. I would not, the word pretty, I guess in the scale of things, but pretty would not be what would cross my mind. Pretty is not what would cross my mind. Here's Benny Johnson with the first, goes, breaking the first image of Hillary Clinton testifying under oath about Jeffrey Epstein to the Republican Oversight Committee. This is the first time Hillary has had to answer real questions about Epstein. Well, Clinton does not look happy. Photo provided by Representative Lauren Boebert. This caused a stir. This caused a problem. It gave talking points to Hillary's team. And I have to wonder why Boebert did that. You know, sometimes I'm so this way and that way on Boebert because she when she was fuming about Nancy Mace's bill to release the sex fund that they have to pay off the interns there in DC. that I was like, yeah, right on. Let's get that out. Let's find out who in Congress is diddling who's cheating who, and who's being true, and who don't even care anymore, right? Ain't that right, Eric Swalwell. I'm just saying, let's find out if Madison Cawthorn was right. But then she goes and does this like it was intentional to give the media talking points that they didn't have to talk about Hillary Clinton and Epstein. I don't understand. Hillary melts down. Breaking. Chaos erupts. Hillary Clinton halts her Epstein testimony. Oh. At what point does it matter anyways? It's at this point, what difference does it make? Let's see here. Somebody asked a question. Said the pedo and sex trafficking is the blue dress, Mike, and the real crimes is the money laundering. I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think there was some pedoing going on. I think there was some sex trafficking going on, but I think that this was Epstein's real thing was money, 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 money. Epstein worked for the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. They were one of his clients. And that's part of that's part of the understanding that you need to get to about that. This, by the way, I'm not saying that these dudes ain't out diddling children and eating beef jerky and pizza and hot dogs and all of that. I'm not saying that they're not doing spirit cooking and worshiping the devil. What I'm saying is the hierarchy and what it's really all about ain't what you think. The Hillary Clinton standard operation is when something is about to be discovered, throw something else salacious out, like Monica. When Ken Starr was investigating, by the way, whenever they appoint a special prosecutor, it's to cover something up. It's never to get to the bottom of it. It's to cover something up. So when Ken Starr was investigating them over Whitewater, over Cattlegate, over Mena, Arkansas, what'd they do? They threw out Monica Lewinsky and the blue dress and the definition of what is and the cigars and all that stuff. Oh, salacious. And all the media said, oh, Bill Clinton's what were they doing? They was running around going, you had CNN anchors going, I'd get under the desk in the Oval Office for Bill Clinton too. He's so hot. They were jealous of Monica. I think everyone's on Epstein payroll. I don't know everyone. And I don't know it's entirely Epstein. But yeah. Here is James Comer coming out.
Our deposition has concluded. It's a shame that it took 7 months to get Ms. Clinton in. She answered most of our questions. I'm going to let some of my colleagues lament on that, but we're going to not release too many details of what happened today. We're going to try to get the video out as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours. That's a very long deposition. So as quick as we can get that video produced, we will get that out. The transcript will be released as soon as her attorneys approve it. That's the standard rules of a deposition. And I think that I think this was a productive deposition today. I think we learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that we asked that we weren't satisfied with the answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my comments?
One thing Wendy says, it's funny, Epstein knew everybody, but nobody knew Epstein. Epstein was a professional people knower. Epstein and Gasoline Maxwell were professional photo bombers. You know that picture? This just popped in my head. I don't have the picture to show you, but you can look it up. Of Maxwell at Hillary Clinton's daughter's wedding. They're standing in lines, right? And they're taking pictures of the bride and the groom. Remember, you've seen the wedding. And what is Maxwell doing? She's leaning forward and turning her head so you can see her face. They're professional photo bombers. Not saying she isn't involved with Hillary. I'm just pointing out who they are. They work their way into social society to peddle their wares, whatever they are. There's much evil there. But I don't think it's everything everybody thinks. I think that a lot of the stuff that's been put out. By the way, did you know that Epstein had 2 islands? And that most people didn't go to the little island where his house was? Nobody ever talks about the other island. That's weird. Just saying. That's the news. That's the news. So we'll get back to Hillary, but let me throw this in here. Someone was asking about the SAVE Act. Thune was saying the other day, we just don't know. The government shut down. We're just going to fit it into the schedule. And I don't know when. It could take months and months and months and months and months and months, after November when we give the House back to the Democrats or the Senate back to the Democrats. It could take a really long time. We just don't have the time. Also, at the Senate.
Oh, yes. And you have been hanging around the Senate button. Come on in. There he is. Oh, yeah, and the senator came too. Everybody knows Baby Dog's story, right?
Oh, that's right. They had time to have a dog show for the senators' dogs, but we just can't find the time to vote for the the Save America Act. The one where we're going to save America from our elections being stolen. Let me tell you something. I don't know how exactly it's going to work. They could pass it tomorrow. But I have a feeling the SAVE Act is not going to pass. It's going to get held up in the Senate intentionally. And why do I say that? Because things that have been told to me by prophetic people and things that God has told me. Okay, it's not important what Trump is saying here. What's important is the story off to the side. This is an old statement from Trump. But I'm not even going to play his statement. I just want to see this. Trump seeking executive power over elections is urged to declare emergency. In that interview where the assistant attorney general was talking about Omar, there's another video on my Telegram page. I'm not going to get to it. That talks about how the Chinese have taken over almost every aspect of our country, including elections. And if we find out that's the reason why Tulsi Gabbard was down there in Fulton, Georgia. That's the reason why the NSA is investigating in Arizona, along with the FBI and the DOJ. And remember, they were the Democrats and some Republicans were throwing an absolutely huge temper fit that Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have any authority. What's she doing down in Fulton? Oh my God, Tulsi Gabbard! Because they know. If China interfered with our elections in 2020, it's an act of war. And Donald Trump, under national security now, can move. The Insurrection Act, an act of war. He can now move to secure our elections. Without the Congress, if he declares this under national security, there's nothing anybody could do in the courts to stop him. The prophetic word given by Mike S. in the comment section here is that the National Guard will secure our elections. There won't be ICE agents at the elections. It'll be the National Guard, and they're the ones that's going to count the ballots. And it will be single ballot. One-day voting. Don't come for me. I'm not with you with the ones that say the military is the only way and they're going to round everybody up and execute everybody on the White House steps. I'm not with that. But I am with, in this particular case, because it's a prophetic word, that Donald Trump, due to national security reasons, will have the National Guard running our elections this next time around. Yeah, Israel has tightened up a bunch of stuff. The aircraft carrier, the big one, Ford, I think, is now off the coast. I think the reason it's off the coast of Israel is to help defend Israel from the attacks from Iran if we attack Iran. Lots of scuttlebutt going around right now about the war with Iran, since you guys are bringing it up in the comment section. And all of the usual suspects. Donald Trump, I just saw Anomaly posted. Donald Trump's going to get us an extended war. Our children are going to die. We're all going to die. Tucker Carlson will be out today, so doing the same thing. Just like the last time around, they're all wrong. Just like with Venezuela, they're all wrong. Something's about to happen. I think Dan Scavino shared a video of B-2s on the tarmac. Something's about to happen. But Donald Trump is a master of look over here, blow you up over there. So whatever they're thinking ain't going to happen. Just as not just war, nuclear war. No, nuclear war will not happen. Well, how do you know? Prophetic word. Okay, here's Hillary Clinton at the press conference.
You spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files have come out. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to the fact that the former president, your husband, Bill Clinton, is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including in some photos featuring women? And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement, had that not happened, perhaps his predatory behavior could have been stopped earlier. But I think it is fair to say that the vast majority of people who had contact with him before his criminal pleas in 2008 were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that that is exactly what my husband will testify to tomorrow.
So there's Hillary Clinton, of course, gaslighting, doing what Hillary Clinton does best, right? There's no doubt in my mind that she is the absolute best at doing all that. She gets younger and younger. Makeup and lighting. Lucy says the military came before the Constitution. Just saying. The military swears to uphold and defend the Constitution. Just saying. That's the oath that they make. So, yeah. The Constitution is the law of the land. If we do anything unconstitutionally, they win. The World Economic Forum and all them people, they win. And you guys are talking about the war in Iran. Let's see. There was one other one. Someone was saying Tucker. No, that's not it. Nukes. That's the reason they're doing this, is because of nukes. But then they won't have time to use their nukes. Because one of the things, we're talking about two things at the same time. We're doing the Hillary stuff, and we're talking about this Iran war stuff. One of the things you got to understand, since Ronald Reagan at least, and even with Ronald Reagan, because his military was still, they pussyfoot around. We pussyfoot around in the war on terror. We pussyfooted around with the Gulf War. We don't do all out war. We don't go to defeat the enemy. We go to, change hearts and minds and nation build and work within the world based, rules based order BS. Donald Trump has proven he doesn't do that. He goes for the kill. Did it in Iran. He'll do it again in Iran. He did it in Venezuela. If we have to use the military in Iran, look for something you've never seen before. Just like the last time around, they were dropping those bombs that were going. You remember that? It's flash. That wasn't a weapon nobody had ever seen before. I see no indication of a large military buildup. Well, we got 50% of our deployable assets over in the region right now, Mike. Just saying. There are no space lasers. There are lasers, by the way. Absolutely, but there's no space lasers. How can you know that? Because technology just isn't there yet. Okay, here's some more. Here's Bobart on why she released that picture that gave Hillary Clinton something else to talk about.
I really admire her blue suit, so I wanted to capture that for everyone.
Why did you send the picture? Why did you send the picture?
Why not?
Why did you send the picture? Why not? I don't know why that is that she did that, but it gave Hillary something else to talk about. Now, Hillary gets asked some questions she doesn't want asked by the media. Used to be the media would ask her, so who did your hair? But now she's getting questions she doesn't want asked.
Can I ask, why was Owen Maxwell invited to the daughter of Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
That is what you call a prepared answer, but she didn't want to, no second, no follow-up. I'm done. We're out of here. We're not answering that question. Notice, this is a typical Clinton. I mean, don't just listen to what she says. These are practiced like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton invented this. Politicians do it now. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. He invented this because this is military, because this is accusatory. He invented this. This is focus grouped, planned, prepared. They invented that. A lot of politicians do it now. Watch what Hillary Clinton does. Watch her facial expression. Watch her mannerisms here.
Already been convicted before.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Now, let me just show you what she did. She turns away from the person to what is she doing? She's focusing on her mind, remembering the strategic answer. She knew that question would come. Then she goes, she came, look at my head. She came as the +1 to someone who was invited. When I went to the W. Clement Stone School of Sales, back when I was selling insurance for combined insurance, I would say I learned which one best suits your needs. Which one best suits your needs? Same thing. Same exact thing that she just did right there. This was totally rehearsed, totally planned for. Heck, the person asking the question may have been a plant. This woman does not do anything, does not say anything that isn't prepared and orchestrated. If they asked her a question in that deposition that she wasn't prepared and had an orchestrated answer for, the answer would have been, I don't know. I plead the fifth. But she never pled the fifth, by the way. She did plead. We'll get to that, I think. I hope I got it here. If not, I'll tell you about it before we get off the air. But watch it again.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
The first to speak in sales loses. That's right. You say which one best suits your needs, mentally telling them to say yes. Used it in auto sales many, many, many times.
Forward, and we.
You know, one of the things they do in auto sales is the 4 square thing. You've seen that, right? When they finally get down to the number. I always made my manager, and he hated me for this, give me 2 options. What do you mean? Give me 2 options. Give me option A if you got this, if you got all the stuff added and you got 60 months payment, or option B, a little bit cheaper interest rate, but a 30-month payment, which would be a bigger payment. Which one's better for you? That's why I did it. Because either way, I sold a car. It's just giving people options is good. Here she is when she says she was asked about Pizzagate and stuff like that. I'm skipping a little bit. 1, 2, skip a few.
To gather whatever information they are seeking. We had a bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand. And one of the members violated that rule, which was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other of our agreements. So we had to cease the hearing for a period of time until we could get assurances that no rules would be broken going forward. And we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact, the Republican members didn't.
Robert asked, wasn't Pizzagate in the Epstein files? No. Pizzagate was not. But pizza was mentioned all over the Epstein files. For some reason, them people really like to eat pizza. So there's Hillary Clinton. You are hearing it from her. Of course, she is a practiced. Everything Hillary Clinton says is prepared, planned, not on accident. She knows exactly what she's saying and exactly what she's doing. She has been in this game for a long. Here's that video I talked about. Dan Scavino posted, and jerky and hot dogs and other stuff too, by the way. I do not own the rights to the music. It's Dan Scavino's fault. Oh, I'm coming down. I'm coming down to a video though, because Representative Luna. Was it Pizzagate from the Wiener laptop? No, it was not. Pizzagate was from the 30,000 emails that came from WikiLeaks that Seth, what's his name, DNC staffer who was murdered in the streets of D.C. In an attempted robbery. And that's where it came from. Podesta talked about it. But Representative Luna, I'm almost there, was being interviewed by, it wasn't Benny Johnson, it was Fox News. And she says something in here that caught my attention. Seth Rich, thank you. I couldn't remember his name, but you all knew who I was talking about.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is on the Oversight Committee and was in the room with Hillary Clinton today. How did you feel she testified?
Look, I will say that she did not seem happy to be there. You can see that from her going out and making some of the statements that she did. But Jesse, you kind of nailed it. Exactly what you just stated, kind of about mysterious circumstances. Although I cannot specifically state what she said in the deposition regarding what you just played, I would bet once you hear the transcription that comes out tomorrow that it's safe to assume that that might be her perspective as well.
Are we going to see video?
Yes, you'll have full video and audio similar to the Les Wexner deposition. And I will also say that, there's more to come out with, but there's it got kind of heated at some points.
So she was asked a lot about her husband. No one thinks Hillary Clinton was involved in sex trafficking or doing anything with children.
Of course not.
Clear, but and her husband's obviously, no one's accusing him of anything. But she was asked a lot about her husband's relationship with Epstein. And she said she couldn't remember. You'd have to ask him.
There's something in regards to when someone's put under oath, there's protected communications between spouses. And so there was a lot of that. But
okay, did you catch it? Did you hear what she just said? Hillary didn't drink the fifth like Nancy Pelosi. She didn't plead the fifth. She answered questions, rehearsed questions. But she doesn't have to testify against her husband. So she didn't plead the fifth. She said, I'm not talking about my conversation or the things that my husband did, because they cannot use her testimony against her husband. That is a standard law that's been around since the beginning. Fifth Amendment stuff. It's not pleading the fifth. It's not admitting any kind of guilt. You just don't have to testify against your husband. And they can't compel you to. That's how she got out of answering a bunch of questions. That's my husband. You have to talk to him. I don't know nothing. I know nothing. Let's continue with the video before we wrap this show up.
what I will also say is what's going to be particularly interesting for the president is that, and President Clinton tomorrow, that is, in his depositions, and is that at a certain point, I think that, you know, this does kind of, was this a honeypot operation? Was this intentional? These are all questions. And I will say specifically, Jesse, when I was asking her questions, I was very focused on the potential of the foreign intelligence ties, and also too, about whether or not she believes specifically we should open up investigations into some of these co-conspirators that were women. And that seems to be something that the liberal media does not want to touch or talk about. And so I encourage everyone to look into that, because there's a lot there. And I will also state that if you are looking at Jeffrey Epstein's people that he interacted with specifically, I definitely think it's safe to say I think the American people agree with me. And I would say, even though Secretary Clinton might not have been able to officially admit it, that she did seem to at least be perceptive to the idea that he was tied to foreign intelligence. And she also had stated that we should follow up on specific ties with him in regards to the 3 countries that were listed by the Epstein attorneys, Russia, Iran, and Israel, in relationship to whether or not it was potentially a foreign intelligence operation. That was interesting.
That is interesting. It does seem to be a honeypot operation, and he does seem very closely tied to Israel, but also looks to be double dipping. He was in between a lot of sectors. The Ghislaine situation.
Peddling information.
Right. Ghislaine, I mean, I don't know if she was intelligence. She might have been tied up in the whole thing. She was a co-conspirator. She's in prison. But the times that she was at Chelsea's wedding, I mean, the rumors were obvious. I mean, she was involved in Epstein's lifestyle, and we know now that she participated in procuring the women. Hillary didn't, she didn't get that?
Look, I am a candidate. I've been a candidate for office. I'm an elected official. And when you have top tier donors, of which the Epstein Maxwell entire apparatus was, you know the names of your donors and individuals. And I do find it hard to believe that she didn't know of the relationship between the two. Obviously, you had said that, and there is White House logs that Epstein attended the White House many times. There is also 2 reports of Ghislaine Maxwell kind of in and out of the same circles. And so, you know, I think the question is whether or not they were being targeted, but also to remember, you know, when you hear the Clintons specifically say, oh, well, Bill Clinton cut all ties with Jeffrey Epstein before the actual charges were brought forward. Well, remember, President Trump has said the same thing. And yet the way that the DNC, the way that the Democrats are trying to use this is to smear the president. And I actually brought this up in the press gaggle today, in that we've asked the victims specifically on whether or not President Trump had hurt them. And he was exonerated. He released the files, and they don't want to report that. What they want to try to do is take this and have us say on record whether or not we will subpoena the president to come testify, in which I respond, the president is not considered a person of interest in this investigation. He's been nothing but cooperative, at least with us and members of the task force. And I think that his record will reflect that he has released all files. It was also interesting to note that we inquired on how many files did President Biden release. The answer is 0.
You're right. Well, keep up the heat.
So there's Luna's take on the Hillary stuff, and that revelation about her not talking about Bill Clinton, because you can't force her to talk about Bill Clinton. That's the way it goes. That's our rules. Was very interesting. She didn't have to plead the 5th. She could plead, that's my husband's thing. I don't know. I can't. I'm not. Mitch McConnell walking through the Senate chambers, asked about the SAVE Act.
McConnell, can you give us some information on why you blocked the SAVE Act, or any information on your thoughts on what Rep. Tim Burchett said about staffers running your office? Any comments, sir?
That guy needs to go to a nursing home. It's getting to be elder abuse at this point, what they're doing to that guy. I mean, getting to be, you know how I've told you to keep your eyes peeled, because you're going to start hearing more and more and more Amazing Grace. This is the This is the song, the theme that God has put in place over this time and this place and this year, this season. As more and more of this comes out, God's going to give more and more amazing grace to his people, so that just like Erica Kirk, her past will be washed away, and the amazing grace who saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Just like that. It's going to be this song's going to be all over. People are going to fall in love with this song again, fall in love with God again, and they're going to sing this song all over. Here's a blind girl, this lady's daughter, singing Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
God is good all the time. All the time, he is good. Keep watching for that song. You're going to see it everywhere. And when you see it, you're going to think, Mike was talking about this. Praise God. Give glory to God, not to me. Glory to God. It's about giving glory to God. Give glory to God. Give glory to God. All glory to God. We're nothing but a bunch of wretches saved by grace. We are, for real. It's Friday. You know what that means, right? Lots coming out. We got the Hillary video is going to come out. I don't know. Other things are breaking. Maybe we'll get the SAVE Act passed. I don't know. Don't worry about it, because I'll be back Monday and we'll talk about it. All right? Take the weekend off. It's supposed to snow here in central Missouri. Woohoo! I rebuke that in Jesus' name. I don't know that's how it works. But anyways, because, the snow, the farmers may need that moisture in the ground. So God bless you. You guys have a great day. PatriotMike is out.